Live and on demand from the WNY News Now studios in downtown Jamestown. This is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. Today is a solemn day to remember those who died in the September 11th terrorist attacks in 2001 and give back in their names. Former President George W. Bush first declared the day Patriot Day just before September 11th in 2002. That was a year after the attacks claimed nearly 3,000 lives. On September 11th, 2001, terrorists hijacked 4 planes. 2 of them crashed into both World Trade Center towers in New York City, causing them to collapse. Another crashed into the Pentagon, while a 4th went down in a field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, after passengers struggled with hijackers. On Patriots' Day, Americans are asked to honor their memories by volunteering, spreading kindness, and participating in remembrance vigils, one of which is happening right now outside of Chautauqua County Court in Mayville, where crews are slated to get underway. We can take a live look at that now, and you see they are expected to hear from a number of officials there in Mayville, and we will bring those remarks to you live here on WNY News Now. And during last year's remarks, Chautauqua County Executive George Borrello talked about how number of years later, decade later really, almost 2 decades now later, that there will be a number of young people in this world who are not going to remember this ceremony and remember these horrid attacks that have took place. And they hope with ceremonies and vigils like this in small towns across the nation, in big cities like New York, they will remember this horrid attack, keeping the memory of those who have fallen and passed. And not just those on September 11th, 2001, in the days after, for those who were stuck alive in the rubble, but for the brave servicemen and women who came to, volunteered to help and to go overseas and to fight the war on terror, and to the number of law enforcement who helped that day serve and rescue these people who were stuck under the rubble. So certainly, we will continue to, bring this awareness to this day and to sound off and letting people know that this is going on. The ceremony looks like it's about to get underway there in Mayville. Let's listen in.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Normally the whistle goes off at noon. The whistle doesn't want to go off, so we'll let it interrupt this part way through our ceremony. I'm Henry Link. I'm the MC. I'm the Chautauqua County American Legion Honor Guard and part of the Joint Veterans Council. We'll start off the day with Stan Kosky. He will give us an invocation. He's our chaplain. Please uncover and remain uncovered until after the invocation. On this, the 18th anniversary of September 11th, may each of us pause to remember, reflect, renew our country's commitment to the fundamental values of inclusion, equality, and diversity. On the morning of September 11th, we were all stunned by the bellowing smoke against the brilliant blue sky, and we mourn the loss of thousands of precious lives. The images and events of that fateful day have left an indelible imprint on our hearts and minds. We remember the day with sadness and remember the awe-inspiring unity we all felt. A collective national expression of how Americans can come together across racial, ethnic, class, and geographic lines to both heal and rebuild our nation. Let us reflect on the spirit of that day when we were resolved in the fact that we are all Americans working together with compassion, generosity, and understanding. Let us embrace our collective humanity and our fundamental values of tolerance, diversity, and shared community. Indeed, what makes us Americans is not what we are, where we came from, but what we stand for and embrace. On this solemn anniversary, let us accept, respect, and honor the sacred worth of all life that inhabits not just this nation, but the entire earth. As we endeavor to move forward, we acknowledge the lessons this tragedy has taught us. In justice, there is peace. In equity, there is harmony. In compassion, there is healing. In unity, there is strength. In hope, there is a possibility. And in love, there is power. Amen.
Uncover, or cover. First up, we have the Chautauqua County American Legion Commander, James Lemansky.
Honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, fellow veterans, good afternoon. The attacks on September 11, 2001 led to 2,977 deaths, including 9 terrorists. Of those, 2,606 died at the World Trade Center in New York City, 125 at the Pentagon, and 246 on the 4 planes involved. Some of those counted dead illness caused by the dust of the World Trade Center site, meaning the total could rise even further. We're here to honor first responders. I'm going to tell you a story about one. His name is Stephen Siller. He was a member of Fire Company 343 in New York City. He was on his way to play golf with his brother. He got caught in a Lincoln tunnel. When he heard on the radio what was happening, he put on his gear. It weighs about 200 pounds, and he ran from the tunnels to the towers to help his fellow citizens. 2 hours later, he perished. We're here to honor all those men and women. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Next up, we have George Borello, County Executive, and possibly the next senator. We'll see.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all for being here on this somber day. Like many of you, I know exactly where I was when I first saw those horrific images on 9/11. It's forever emblazoned in my soul, and I will never forget. When I look back now to 18 years later, it concerns me. It concerns me because most seniors in high school right now weren't even alive when this happened. It concerns me because I see the after effects of where we are now in our society. On that day and in the months and years that followed, we were united. The politics in our country ended at the water's edge. We all worked together collectively to fight a common enemy. But now, we live in a society where we're more concerned about offending someone versus doing the right thing. We're more concerned about how many people will be impacted, a small number of people might be impacted negatively when someone steps up to do the right thing. So my concern today is that we all remember, and those of us that lived through it, those of us whose lives are forever changed by what happened on that day, that we continue to share this with our children, that we continue to understand that the threat is still there, it is still very real, and it happens around the world, and unfortunately someday may be visited on our shores again. So please, take this day to speak with a young person, to tell them what happened that day. Watching those bodies fall from the World Trade Center, they jumped because they had no other choice. Understanding that what we are facing is a true threat from people that want nothing but the destruction of the United States of America. And that we must all stand together united, regardless of party, regardless of politics, regardless of race or religion, and stand behind our first responders, should something happen again, and stand behind the United States of America and the rest of the free world that would like to see an end to this horrific terror that we have to live through. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Next up, someone that we all know, and he's been here several times, and he comes to anything that we actually put on and we need, our New York State Assemblyman, Andy Goodell.
Good afternoon. Thank you to all of you who have come out on this special occasion as we reflect back on what happened 18 years ago. 9/11 was not the first time that the United States was attacked. In 1812, for example, the British attacked the United States and sacked Washington, D.C. It didn't turn out so well for the British. On December 7th, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. That didn't turn out so well for Japan either. 9/11, a group of fanatics attacked the United States, and we know where they are today. That didn't turn out so well for them. But 9/11 was unique because in 9/11, it wasn't our military that was attacked. It wasn't an act of government. It was civilians that were attacked. Every aspect of that attack involved innocent civilians who had no political axe to grind, who were minding their own business, who were going to work, contributing to their community, and helping their neighbors and friends. They did nothing wrong that morning when they got up. Yet they were killed in a random act, well, I shouldn't say random, a well-planned attack on everyday individual residents and citizens like you and I. And as our county executive pointed out, our country rallied together because it was an attack on every one of us, wasn't it? It was an attack on what we believe in. It was an attack on our freedom. It was an attack on our values. It was an attack on the fabric of America that makes us the greatest nation in the world.
And you are watching live video and pictures from Mayville, where a 9/11 remembrance ceremony hosted by the American Legion and County's Veterans Council is underway. When we return, a check of your local news headlines.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains
God bless America.
to the prairies,
God bless America.
to night with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, America, my home.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
I've walked my talk. I've brought officials to meet the community. It should be a government by the people, for the people. I've stood alone to represent the citizens of the city for transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility. My values haven't changed. I stand for you. Vote November 5th. Liuzzo for mayor.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Happening now, a 66-year-old Warsaw man died following a two-vehicle crash on Interstate 86 in the town of North Harmony early this morning. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office reports Tommy Hyde was pronounced dead at the scene. The occupants of the other vehicle involved in the crash were not injured. Deputies say the eastbound lane of I-86 was closed for several hours from Panama Stedman Road to the Stowe exit. The cause of that crash is still under investigation. The Chautauqua County Hazmat Team, Chautauqua County Accident Reconstruction Team, and various local fire departments assisted deputies at the scene. And the city of Jamestown man is facing felony assault charges after Dunkirk police alleged he physically assaulted a family member of his last week. 20-year-old Adrian Melo Estradaga is charged with felony first-degree assault. Dunkirk police allege that he got into a physical altercation with a known relative last Friday morning on Lakeshore Drive East near Severn Street. Officers said that he was remanded to Chautauqua County Jail on $100,000 bail. And New York State DOT officials plan to widen a stretch of Route 60. The state will be holding a public information session next week to hear feedback from residents. The proposed work would take place next spring in the towns of Charlotte, Gary, Stockton, and villages of Cassadaga and Sinclairsville. Over the years, Route 60 has been proven to be deadly. In 2017, a 20-year-old Lakewood man was killed on the motorway after investigators say his vehicle crossed the center line and struck a Coach USA bus. The public meeting will take place Tuesday, September 17th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Cassadaga Valley High School. And dubbing it an industry-wide conspiracy, New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo announced yesterday he will be filing a lawsuit for the overprescription of opioids that he says has defrauded New Yorkers out of billions of dollars. The governor says the state's Department of Financial Services is now gathering evidence for a lawsuit that extends beyond the drug makers to the drug distributors and pharmacies. Cuomo says the cost of overuse of opioids was passed on to insurance premium holders who took a hike to their rates.
There should have been a lot of whistleblowers all along the way. There were a lot of checks and balances all along the way. Manufacturer makes the medication. It then goes to distributors who have actually pleaded guilty to knowing that there was suspicious activity on behalf of the companies that they were fulfilling the prescriptions to, and they didn't say anything, and they kept pushing the drug. It then goes to the retailers, the same thing.
Now, Cuomo says major pharmaceutical companies like Purdue Pharma, which manufactured the popular OxyContin opioid, have gotten away with it for decades. And a Minnesota-based outdoor store that has moved into the former Sam's Club building on Fairmount Avenue in West Ellicott is scheduled to open their doors later this month. Runnings says they'll start operations with a soft opening on Thursday, September 26th, and host a grand opening sometime in October. The operation has provided around 50 new jobs to the area. On Tuesday, a new sign advertising the location was installed between the location's parking lot and Fairmount Avenue. In total, the company has 45 stores across the nation, employing more than 2,000 people. The company says they will sell a variety of sporting goods, clothing, footwear, farm supplies, and outdoors equipment. Pretty cool. Coming up next, Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter, he's standing by with a live look at our weather when WNY News Now returns.
Now open in downtown Jamestown, Pearl City Hops, restaurant and tavern.
I have some real old-timey dishes on there that I'm just giving new life to. Like there's a shepherd's pie on there that's gonna have some bison in it, real thick hearty gravy. Then I'm also doing beer flights. We're pairing it with a set of sliders, a set of tacos, and a set of mini rolls. So everything's gonna have its own pair, so you can get a taste of a little bit of everything and all the beers. We don't want to be known as the restaurant in the hotel. We want to be known as Pearl City Hops.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
First Defense Weather, the Southern Tier's only live and local weather source. Now, here's Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter.
Can hear me right now, but there we go. We'll take a look at the bus stop forecast. First of all, to start off this weather segment here, 77 to 84 as the kids come home from school today, 62 to 86 as you send them off to school tomorrow morning. And these were the low temperatures across the region. 67 at Jamestown this morning, 75 Dunkirk, 73 Erie, 64 Olean, and we're done with that for at least a little while. September feeling, made up a new word. That's a new word today. September feeling, feels like summer in September. Humidity stays in place through the afternoon, and showers and storms late this afternoon, mainly this evening. Anybody want to go have some golf, maybe jump in the pool, maybe a barbecue? Here's HD News Now Cam again. Right now we're at 79 with a west wind at 10, dew point at 69, and with a dew point that high, it feels like 82 degrees. You can feel it when you step outside. Out there this afternoon. Here's First Defense Doppler, really nothing going on. We'll do the wide view here, and you can see you can see that rain peeking back to the west. That's going to be coming in later tonight. So there's a marginal risk for severe weather. It's really a low-end risk. That's the lowest end severe weather risk, a level 1 out of 5 for this afternoon. This is mainly for tonight. And you can see the main threat is going to be from damaging straight line winds with a 5% chance of a 5% chance of damaging straight line winds. We'll take you through future scan. There you see the line coming on through. A few showers and storms moving on through tonight. Again, some of them could be strong with some gusty winds, but it's a low-end threat. I don't think it's going to be anything too major, nothing to really write home about there. Zone by zone, we'll start at the eastern areas first here. Temperatures throughout the afternoon into the lower 80s. It's going to be feeling like the good old days of summer with temperatures into the 80s throughout the afternoon. Lake Erie shoreline here. The immediate Lake Erie waterfront, once you get right to the water, will stay into the 70s, but most everybody should spike into the 80s. Hazy, hot, and humid with a late day storm. Here comes the 7-day, and again, 71 tomorrow, 75 on Friday. Leftover a few showers. The weekend looking great. Tuesday, a warm day as well when we get back into the 80s. But right now, the weekend looking dry. Sports is next. Don't go away.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news. WNY Sports Now is powered by Phone Zone of Jamestown. With the largest inventory around, we buy and sell our own merchandise at a price that can't be beat. Have a broken screen? We'll fix it. Learn more at phonezoneshop.com.
Good afternoon, sports fans, and welcome back to WNY News Now. I'm Norm Rodriguez with a look at sports. In non-conference high school soccer action, the Chautauqua Lake Thunderbirds varsity boys soccer team will be hosting the Fredonia Hillbillies this afternoon at 4:30. Another non-conference game which will be played this afternoon at 4:30 will be the Maple Grove Red Dragons going on the road to battle the Frewsburg Bears. A conference game which will be played this afternoon at 5 o'clock will be the Frontier Falcons varsity girls team hosting the Jamestown Red Raiders. The Jamestown Rebels, teaming up with Ferrellgas, will begin a program this coming season, dubbed the Ferrellgas Kid of the Week program. One kid will be selected each Saturday home game. The chosen one will be able to skate or stand alongside the Rebels players prior to the first puck drop, as well as be announced with the Rebels starting lineup. The Kid of the Week will also be given a family 4-pack of Rebels tickets and a swag bag, among other perks. Registrations can be filled out on the Jamestown Rebels team website. Tonight, with a 7:10 first pitch, the New York Mets will play the penultimate game of a 4-game home series versus the Arizona Diamondbacks. Winning the first 2 games of the series, the Mets are in 4th in the NL East at 74-70 and are 3 games behind for the final wild card spot in the National League. Meanwhile, Arizona is in 2nd in the NL West at 75-70, which is the best they can finish with the LA Dodgers winning that respective division. The Diamondbacks are also 2.5 games behind for the NL wildcard spot. Steven Matz gets a starting call at pitcher for the Mets against Arizona's Robbie Ray. The game will be televised on Sportsnet New York. That's it for sports today. Justin, back to you.
All right, Norm, thank you very much. Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter joins us now with a final look at our weather. And Dakota, it looks like we could have a little bit of thunderstorm activity.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's not going to be this afternoon. It's mainly going to be later tonight. Let's take a look at the thunderstorm impacts. And again, it's mainly going to be heavy rain, but there is the chance for some brief gusty winds. But it's a low-end threat. That's the main thing that we want to stress. But this line is going to be moving on through basically very late this afternoon into the nighttime hours. So it's probably going to be a little bit of a loud night when you're trying to sleep.
All right. Well, hey, I don't mind a couple of thunder boomers, but I know a few other people who aren't a big fan of them. Thank you. That's going to do it for us today. When you're on the go, be sure to stay in the know by downloading the WNY News Now mobile app. It's free on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. We leave you with a live look of the HD News Now cam here in downtown Jamestown. We're back tomorrow. See you then.